Well, good afternoon everyone, and here we are again at the model front. The model front which is ever advancing to completion of the model seam. I'm running out of metaphors. Anyway, so this is the AV-8B Night Attack series. These aircraft were in service with the Watifians from the early 1990s to as late as 2010, when they were replaced by the AV-8 Plus 2 Night Attack Plus 2 Harrier, whatever it is, with the one with the radar basically. And this was a upgrade of the original AV-8B, which was very much a day attack aircraft. The night attack gained this forward-looking infrared targeting system, and it retained the labs or the bombing system underneath. And we've got a couple of different kits here. We've got two by Italeri, and they were reboxed, I believe, by Tamiya. And then we've got the excellent Hasegawa one, which I stumbled across some time ago on eBay and managed to get. The Hasegawa one, of course, they then did the AV-8 B plus 2 Harrier, which had the radar nose, and essentially it's the same aircraft, but it has the radar nose. And the radar is really important, and we'll come on to that a bit later. But the AV-8B Night Attack Harrier was a big step forward on the AV-8A, and on the AV-8B, the AV-8A, it was a big step forward to the B model with the wing, better capability, better aircraft, better flight system. And then over the B model, it became a night attack, all-weather capable aircraft. So a big advance there. The actual AV-8Bs, the day attack variant, I've covered in my Gulf War segment, but they weren't in service for that long with the Watifians, as they weren't with the RAF and the US Marine Corps. The US Marine Corps went to the AV-8B Harrier Plus 2, which is the one with the radar, which has the night attack system on the top of the nose, like it does on this one. I had to add this because Hasegawa don't do that model. And I had to add the chaff and flare because Hasegawa for some reason didn't include that, because this was the AV-8B kit, which I've modified into a night attack version, which you couldn't get from Hasegawa in this scale. Where was I? So anyway, the AV-8B Night Attack was a big advance forwards on the original day attack aircraft. The Italeri ones and the Hasegawa ones, they've got some really nice features between them. The Italeri ones, you have to cut the intakes open at the top, which I just did with a Stanley blade. And on the ground, the top ones are open, but the bottom ones are closed. When they're powered up on the ground, they're all open. When it's hovering, they're all open. And when it's flying in the air, they're all shut. So it's really to get extra air into that Pegasus engine. The Italeri ones come with the chaff and flare and the night attack boxing, and come with the refueling probe here, but they do have raised panel lines. The Hasegawa ones don't come with a night attack fairing, which I added. They do come with the refueling probe, but they don't come with the countermeasures, so I made that myself out of plastic hard. It's not perfect, but it will do for now. The all of these have the 65% leading edge root extensions, although the Hasegawa one is noticeably larger than the Italeri ones here, which comes separate fillets. So a slight difference there. Now, from what I'm led to believe, is 100% is the full fatness leading edge root extension. 65% is 65% of the fatness. So it's not like it's got longer or bigger, but apparently it's to do with the fatness or something like that. And underneath here, we've got the equalizer gun pod. I've done this one with a Maverick. I've done this one with a GBU, what do you call them? 105, CBU 105 even, wind corrected munitions dispenser, a rocket pod and a jamming pod. And these would have served, like I said, up to 2010 when the Malagassi's moved onto the radar nosed versions. This Italeri one I've done with a GBU 12 style £2,000 Mark 84 glide bomb. It's got the wing corrected munitions dispenser CBU 105 in the middle. It's got a lantern targeting pod there, AIM 9 sidewinder, Maverick fuel tank, and a jamming pod. Now, the earliest scheme that I've done this in was the one that came in pretty much after they moved from the day attack versions. They came up with a scheme called In the Night Garden, which has a green top on a grey base, and they didn't really use it for that long. Now, this one's got 3 of the CBU 105 non-wind corrected munitions dispensers, 2 rocket pods, a French targeting pod because it's carrying an AS-30L laser guided missile, and for a short time the Malagasys used those. They then kind of went back to the Mavericks and were back in the American camp, but these have quite a big warhead, so quite a useful weapon. So what I'm saying in the what if is that these served from really the early mid 1990s, and they served until the introduction of the radar nosed variant in 2010. And why did they get the radar nosed variant? Well, they got it because the Tomcats were retired, and the Marines and then the Navy felt that the LHAs, which these can fly from, 6 of them from a landing helicopter assault ship, needed some more air defence capability because the Tomcats had gone. And yes, the Rafale can do the job of the Tomcat, sort of. Yes, it's better dogfighter, but you're lacking the Phoenix there to reach out and touch someone. So for that reason, the Malagasy Marines upgraded to the radar-nosed variant to give their forces some cover, and they got absorbed into the Navy in a bit of a reorganisation. But there we go. So these would have served right away through all the campaigns from the mid-1990s all the way through the Afghanistan campaigns to 2010. And now they've got the radar-equipped one. So this very much completes my Harrier builds. Of course, I've got the trainers, which I've already done and detailed, but I hope you like them. Let me know what you think. Again, a good way of looking at the kits. So Italeri here, Hasegawa here. Now, interestingly, they're all different and they all come with different things. So the Hasegawa one has the little sort of ramp, for want of a better word, little flap underneath there, which goes between the gun pods, all the strakes, and that directs the air from the exhaust in a certain direction, but it doesn't have the air brakes. And when you see these hovering or landing, they'll have the air brakes out, and that's because it's directing the thrust from the engines in a certain way. The Italeri one doesn't have that. The Esky one does. They're all very different in the way that they come with different parts and components in each manufacturer's interpretation of the Harrier. I hope that helps if you are planning to build it. The biggest external differences between them is that the Harrier by Italeri has a smaller leading edge root extension, bigger on the Hasegawa, but it's not still the full 100% lurks of the Harrier Plus 2 with the radar. There you go, Harriers. I love them.